Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today's video is something that I haven't done in a while. Some of you guys may know I reacted to a couple of TikToks a while back, as well as some of my own videos that were quite old and that kind of stuff. I've never actually reacted to another YouTuber's content that I have not been in. So today we're reacting to Anthony Padilla's video on goths. I spent a day with goths. I've been watching his content for some time now, I'd say about 2 or 3 months. And I'm quite familiar with how Anthony lays out his videos and also the kind of way he addresses it. The titles seem like he's going to be a bit of a douche about it. He's actually a really nice guy and the interviews are very well talked through and very well discussed. So I was interested in seeing what this video has in store with us. I have watched a little bit of this. I watched about a minute or so of the beginning, maybe even half a minute. I wasn't planning on filming this video and then I watched it and I was like, I should probably make a video reacting to this because I think it would be interesting to do. So
hi guys, it's editing me. I just wanted to point out before we get into this that I've just noticed that It's Black Friday has actually uploaded this exact video about a minute ago. So when I thought I was being individual and creative and that this would be the first video of this that's on the internet, it's not. So if anyone tries to come at me and say that I copied It's Black Friday, nope, we had the same idea without knowing that we each other had done this idea, but one of us just didn't upload it first.
So let's start the video up and I'll try and have it just here so you guys can watch it as well.
Goth, a subculture visually defined by its characteristic black clothing, hair, lipstick, fingernail polish, and pale complexion.
Two things. First off, fingernail polish. You guys can see mine is chipped to heck. It used to be a green sparkly one, so I'm not sure where that one came from. And then it also says pale aesthetic, which I think is incorrect. Yes, there are a lot of Caucasian goths in the subculture, but there are also lots of people of colour in the goth subculture, so it's not exclusively defined by white people or pale people. Just putting it out there.
Along with an emphasis on finding beauty in what others may consider dark. While aesthetics are certainly an important factor, many feel the goth lifestyle is predominantly defined by gothic rock, an evolution of the post-punk music scene in the 1980s. Nearly 40 years since its explosion into the mainstream, the goth subculture is still thriving to this day and has impacted nearly every corner of the earth, with a strong presence everywhere from Germany to Japan.
So first of all, I think it's absolutely brilliant that he's actually brought in goth rock into this. I can see The Cure and I can see Joy Division, so I'm super glad that he's mentioned goth music is a key part of goth. I doubt that he would have looked into the other genres of goth music like dark wave, that other stuff, but I'm glad he mentioned goth rock as a real good place to start out with. He does show a clip of a YouTuber, Graveyard Girl, and I never actually watched any of her content, so I can't comment on if she listens to goth rock or goth music, but I thought that was quite interesting as well.
My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'm going to be sitting down with goths to learn the truth about this lifestyle and what it's like identifying with the culture that endures such harsh criticism from outsiders. Are goths able to see beauty in the dark and macabre, allowing them to find a certain peace in life that others simply can't? Or is this merely an obsession with death and destruction that barely scratches the surface of deep-rooted satanic beliefs? Are goths proud of their label? Or has their identity forced them to feel beaten down and shunned into those of society?
So something you wouldn't really know about watching this if you've never seen any Anthony's videos, he likes to juxtapose basically the truth with something really outlandish and crazy. So he just gone and said something about satanic depths or something like that. Now I know that Anthony does this because it's a filmmaking technique that he uses and an interviewing technique that he uses to make the video more interesting to the people, but if you are coming across this video not knowing anything about Anthony or not knowing anything about his videos, you might see this as a little bit off. I understand why he's done it. I guess because it's a community that I am in, it feels more wrong to me than if I said watched the emo one or if I said watch the one about people with DID. I wouldn't relate as much to it because I'm not in those communities, but because it's my community it's happening to, I'm feeling a bit.
Hi, Stella.
Hello.
Tyler.
Hey.
Susie.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you so much for coming out and teaching me about the wondrous world of goths.
beautiful.
So what do you consider yourself? Goth, deeply dark and mysterious individual?
I consider myself goth.
I really appreciate he's also got a male goth in the set of 3 people he's interviewed, as well as a person of colour. That's thumbs up for me, Anthony. Thumbs up on the representation.
I consider myself to be goth.
I would consider myself goth. Second generation.
Ooh, it's passed down.
Yeah, my dad is goth and my nieces and nephews are goth. Like, it just runs in the family, yeah.
You're just breeding goths.
Yeah.
It's genetic at this point.
It could be. You should really test for that.
What does being goth entail?
It's a sub-style. It's an aesthetic. It's a music category. It's a friend.
You just have to listen to the music.
It's mostly about the music?
Yeah, that's really all it is. Like, people try to make it about other things, but it's just the music.
The music is the foundation of the culture. It evolved from the post-punk scene that occurred in the late 70s, early 80s. Bands like...
I really love this guy's Exorcist doll or pin. He's got a really cool battle jacket. I love what he's wearing, and I also love the fact that he's like, yeah, music guys, music.
Susie and the Banshees, The Cure, Joy Division.
Oh, I love Stella. I love Stella. Yes, giving that 80s goth rock vibes, but Queen. Also, Queen is educated. Love.
How long have you been goth?
Honestly, about 2 years since I, really started listening to the music. It was an episode of South Park where...
Introduced you to goth culture?
Essentially, because I was like, okay, so that's what it's called.
In 6th grade, finally noticing that I had a look that I could control.
What is it about goth culture that you identify with most?
It's just really leaning into your sensitivity and your sadness and commiserating.
Do people ever mistake you for emo?
No, I've never had that.
Oh,
No,
you don't
actually,
get that?
no, I get goth all the time. Do you get emo all the time?
Oh, I've never gotten goth, I've only gotten emo.
I thought this looked pretty goth.
It's just what I am.
Oh, poor Anthony. Oh, bless him. I think what this girl's saying about the fact that she can control her own style, I do get that. That's a big part of, I think, what happened with goth and me. I started noticing I can control my own style and my own looks, but also I like the music as well as other people. So it's interesting to hear about how people got into it. Obviously hers is handed down generation to generation. So interesting.
What is it about goth culture that you identify with most?
My house is definitely a part of my goth lifestyle.
Your house is goth?
I'm a taxidermist, trained and accredited.
So you got dead animals in your house?
A lot of dead animals in my house.
You're surrounded by death.
Yes, I'm very death positive.
I've just noticed her bag. I want that bag.
What is it about the dark and macabre that you find so fascinating?
I mean, because we're all gonna die. When I was in high school, I applied to be a makeup artist on cadavers at a funeral home. That was like my dream. I don't have any problem being around death or the dead because I've always looked at it as a natural thing. It's so easy these days to ignore it and forget about it because it's, you don't do funerals in the home anymore. You don't do viewings really of the dead anymore. Things like that, like they don't happen anymore.
I feel like so many people, at least in Western culture these days, are taught to push death away from a very young age. Someone dies in the family, I don't want to see them ever again because I want to remember them when they were alive. And also I don't want to talk about it or think about it at all. I don't want to be reminded of the fact that I'm going to die. Do you feel like that's maybe there's something nice about accepting death and being okay with it and finding the beauty in it?
Well, yes, because when it eventually happens, you were like expecting that. Like we're all gonna die, we all know that, but you have some sort of illness and you're on your deathbed, you had some time to reflect on the beautiful life you had and the friends you made. But yeah, there's a lot of beauty in death.
Before we learn more about the wondrous world of goths, I wanted to take a quick moment to thank you so much for helping this show be even more fan-driven than ever before. Every guest in this episode and last week's Pansexuals episode was either a fan of the show or someone whose attention was brought to my call to find guests by one of you guys on Twitter or Instagram, which is just so cool to know that you guys care about this show just as much as I do. So make sure you subscribe and turn on all those notifications so that you see whenever I make a post about needing a guest that's part of a subculture or demographic that really just might be perfect for you. And so you also see whenever I make posts requesting questions from you guys. That's actually where I get a bunch of the fan questions that I end up using in episodes. That's all I wanted to say. Now back to learning about the wondrous world of goths. Do you ever get weird reactions because of your goth fashion choices?
I would say like 30% of the time I get profiled for a shoplifter.
Really?
Get followed around the store.
So if you have a tattoo sleeve and you wear black, you're probably gonna steal something.
Yeah, I get a lot of people who are like, you know, in messages online asking if like I want to kill myself or like things like that, you know, like, cause like you're so depressed. And I wish that like connotation of it would just go away. Cause like that's also a stereotype. That's mean.
Do people ever assume that you're unapproachable?
I think I've never had the whole shoplifting thing. I just haven't noticed if I've ever been profiled as a shoplifter. I think the fact that I don't really go out much, I've never really noticed that happens to me. I used to have the people asking me if I was going to kill myself sort of situation, particularly after I posted a mental health talk video. I don't have it all that often actually. I don't really get many people commenting stuff or asking me stuff, but I have experienced something for that in the past. I do know that it happens to other people. I think I'm lucky enough to avoid that sort of stuff.
Because of your look?
Yes. It doesn't help that I have resting bitch face.
Resting bitch face. I get that a lot.
You got RBF?
RBF, I got RBF hard.
Yeah, I've got that.
I feel like resting bitch face is really just a way for people to say, hey, that woman doesn't look as happy as I wish she would look.
Oh, Anthony just snapped.
Thank you. You know what's a bad thing in the goth community right now that I wish would go away? Everyone wants a goth girlfriend.
Is that a thing that people say?
The big goth girlfriend thing?
No, they say I want big goth girlfriend.
Oh, there's people who are saying, I want a big goth girlfriend. That's the trend. I find it extremely demeaning because it's saying that goth girls are only wanted because of their look. There's more to us than just like big goth girlfriend.
Is it expensive to dress and look goth?
Yes.
I disagree. I don't think it's expensive to dress or look goth. My channel is essentially built around budget-friendly alternatives to goth mainstream fashion. I think if you want it to be expensive and you want to spend money on it, you totally could, same as dressing normal. If you want to shop high-end brands, if you want to shop from places like Killstar or Dolls Kill or D'Andre, you can. But equally, if you want to DIY and if you want to buy second-hand, you can. And if you want to have a combination of the both, you can. It doesn't have to be expensive if you don't want it to be expensive.
Yes.
How much would you say this entire outfit that you're wearing now would cost?
Okay, with everything I have on, from pins to patches to my fanny pack to my boots and my pants, $600.
600. Okay, so my outfit is, this hat was from Primark a couple of years ago, it was £10. This collar was around £5. This dress was given to me for free as part of a collab, it would have been £20. So this outfit is less than £40 and his is 600. I do know that badges and pins can add up, but that's a lot of money.
Okay, yeah, so that adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What is the least goth thing about you?
I have Disney Plus.
Do you proudly tell people that you're goth, or is that more of a secret in your life?
I'm pretty proud about it.
Oh, it's not a secret. Like, the way I dress, people just automatically assume that I am, so I don't have to tell people.
You can't hide it then.
Yeah, I can't hide it, so.
Spooky Cat wants to know how you feel about gatekeepers in the community.
The only gatekeeping that I personally find acceptable is the fact that you have to listen to the music to be goth. That is all that matters. You don't have to dress any particular way because it is just a music-based subculture. It's like being emo without listening to My Chemical Romance or something like that.
True.
Well said, Stella, well said. I think people use gatekeeper and they throw it around a lot because people are uncomfortable or people are ignorant to the idea of goth music. Some people do just want to dress goth for the fashion, for the looks, which is okay, go ahead, do that, just do not call yourself a goth because you are not a goth without listening to goth music. You can totally dress in a goth fashion, in a goth aesthetic, and call yourself darkly inclined, or goth inspired, or gothic. Dressing in a goth way does not mean you are a goth. As Stella said, well put.
Naked Father wants to know what's up with drinking wine in graveyards.
He's so hot. Aaron, why don't you take me there?
You say it's so hot?
No one's ever taken me on a date drinking wine in a graveyard. That sounds awesome.
I've never drank wine in a graveyard. I've been to graveyards a handful of times. I've done photo shoots in graveyards. I've chilled out in graveyards with my friends. I've done vlogs. But I've never drank wine in a graveyard. I know that other people in my life have, as part of their mourning process with their friends and the family for a loved one, but I've never personally done it. You can tell this girl is joking around with the fact that no one's ever done that to her, because she's being sarcastic, it's clear.
Why do you think so many people have such harsh judgments against goths?
I think people are just very uncomfortable with alternative culture.
Because they can't accept themselves. Like, honestly, it all comes from hurt, which is pretty goth. Maybe they want to be goth too, and that's why they're picking on it, because they want to be, but they can't. Because for some reason they hold themselves back.
If there's someone watching who feels like they might identify with goth culture, but maybe are afraid to express themselves because they're afraid of that judgment and the backlash that they might receive, is there anything that you'd want to say to them?
It's hard. I get it. You know, confidence doesn't always come naturally, but start kind of veering out of your comfort zone, and eventually you'll get to a point where things are easier for you.
I feel like it takes a lot of bravery and courage to go out dressing goth, knowing that people are going to look at you and knowing that people are going to judge you, but also being confident enough in yourself that you don't necessarily care.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Obviously, if you can't tell I'm black, people like stare at you like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, they literally said that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, off.
Yeah.
If anyone is black out there and wants to be goth, or that listen to goth music, and people tell you shit, just remember that there was a black person in The Cure. Like, one of the most goth bands ever. There was a black person in it, so just tell that person to f off. Just always remember that.
No, I agree with Greg completely. Obviously, as a white female, I've never experienced what it's like to be a person of colour in the goth subculture, but I do appreciate that he just called people out on their bullshit, and he's just saying, hey guys, look, like, The Cure's got someone of colour in their band. People will find a way to be racist, and people will find a way to pull you down if that's what they want to do, and unfortunately so, that often happens in the goth subculture because people see it as a all-white community or as a pale person community, which it isn't. It's for everyone. But it's sad that some people do feel like they can't be part of goth because of being a person of colour.
What do your friends and family think about you being goth?
My family is, for the most part, pretty supportive. You know, sometimes I get like, hey, can you not wear this to this? Like, please.
I called my dad and I was like, Anthony Padilla wants me to come on and be on the show. And my dad was like, oh, be sure you tell him that I'm goth too. And I was like, hell yeah, Dad.
What is it about being goth that brings you the most joy?
I get to be myself and like indulging in the things I like.
And what do you think the biggest misconception is?
They're purposely trying to scare people that they're gonna hurt you, that they're gonna hurt others, that they wanna hurt themselves. That's a big one. And that's not to say that that's not a part of the community, but there are people who are mentally hurt everywhere, in every community. So you can't say that that's just a goth thing.
No, I agree completely with what she says. I've personally never dressed in a way to scare people, to hurt people. I've never wanted to get into the goth subculture for purposes of hurting myself or glorifying harm to myself. I have, trigger warning to be put here, I have suffered with self-harm and other mental illnesses in the past. I still do, but I've never got into goth for those purposes or to glorify it for those purposes. I've never associated it with it. I think it's wrong that other people do associate it. Like she says, there are people in any group in society that have mental health issues. Yes, those people are going to be in goth. We're part of society. Unavoidable.
You know, the religion aspect, like all goths are saying this, or these kids would shoot up schools. I think that came from, you know, the Columbine kids. Marilyn Manson was big in the late 90s, and they listened to Marilyn Manson and Rammstein, so people just assume, since they like that music, they think all kids that listen to that want to go shoot up a school, or they're violent, or they're mad and depressed all the time.
Goth makeover time! Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
I brought stuff. I brought some shoes. Okay. They're not in style anymore, but I thought they might be fun.
I can finally say that I'm over 6 foot!
Wait. Wow, you are so tall.
Wait, stand here, stand over here, short stuff. Just me hanging out with a twerp.
You gotta try jumping in them.
Jumping? Oh my god.
Did it feel good?
It felt good. I
Yeah?
felt it. And I feel like now I look it, I feel it, I am it.
As the raven flies over a skull, you too shall subscribe to Anthony Padilla.
Please. I actually have a parting gift for you. Best interviewer shirt that you could get at Padillo.
I also like how Anthony gave them the black best interviewer shirt. He has white ones, and he clearly just knows about goths and what he should be doing.
Shop.com, but for you, this is gonna go perfectly great
it's-
in your goth closet.
Yes. It's black, like my soul.
All right, you got 5 seconds to shout out or promote anything you want directly to camera. Go.
PsychicCircleOddities.com. I put up new goth, unique clothing and accessory items every week.
Follow me on TikTok at Stella Stardust and on Instagram darling.stardust.
Listen to goth music, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, and follow me on Instagram at NecroCount.
Okay, so that was it for the actual video. Overall, I am glad I watched it. I knew that Anthony would address it in a very nice and proper way. He actually likes to get the actual basis of the truth. I like that the people that are being interviewed were very strong on the music side of it. I think if you were coming at it as an outsider to goth, as someone who knew absolutely nothing about it, is pretty decent introduction. I think it sums it up pretty well. Obviously they didn't have enough time to mention all the genres of music or all the bands out there. The girl on there clearly preferred some of the early 80s stuff, which who doesn't like the 80s stuff, let's be honest. But overall I think the video was really good. I like how it represented goth. My final thoughts on the video, I don't have any complaints. I did find it humorous that the girl, I can't remember her name, did Anthony up and did something cool. So guys, let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. Would you want to see more Goth Reacts videos? If you have any requests for videos, please leave them in the comments down below. I am contemplating getting Twitter purely so people can recommend me stuff to react to. I do find it interesting and fun to react to stuff. I actually was just laying in bed because I'm having a really bad flare-up right now, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this video, and I was like, oh, I have to make a video on this right now. So I put makeup on for you guys. I literally am taking this off straight after the video. I'm going back into bed. I'm gonna get my heat packed and get back into bed because my body is really hurting right now, but I had to make a video on it, so you know, dedication to my craft. A huge thank you to our patrons, because without them videos like this are not possible. But guys, stay safe, stay dark, and I'll see you in the next one.